You good? Welcome to episode 43 of the 2 for 2 podcast. I'm your host, Rivers. Yeah, today, as you can see, I don't have my co-host, but I do have my special friends in studio. Before I forget, let me make mention that starting next episode for the viewers and listeners, we are going to be rolling out our part of the show where you guys get to interact with the podcast via a paywall. You just send us your questions and you pay a fee of $1. And you have the choice to be anonymous, or you can give us your information, contact information, whatever you're comfortable with, and we will call you live and discuss your topic on the podcast. I will put the link of your paywall in the description for international listeners or viewers. It'll be through PayPal. For locals, it'll be Suncash. All right, so remember, from here on out, the link will be in the description for every video. Now, I'm here today. Thomas is here. Only me and him is here. But we got a special guest in the building today. It's been a while. Been a long time coming. I've been trying to get on this podcast for a few weeks, maybe a few months. She's finally here. She's one of the best singers, performers, rappers, whatever you want to call her. She's one of those. She got the talent. She's a trifecta, if you ask me. It's wonderful. Amazing person, amazing human being, wonderful performer and entertainer. She goes by the name of Chase. How are you doing today?
I'm good. What a marvelous introduction. Thank you.
It is? I fell short of that. I felt like I left a few things out.
I'm so humbled.
Yeah.
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm excellent. Great to finally have you in studio with us.
It's not been that long. It's been a couple of weeks.
Well, that
Not a
feels
couple of
long enough.
months. Well, I'm here.
Well, I've been
Happy to
meaning.
be here.
Before I even spoke to you about it, I've been meaning to have you on here for a while because me and one of my friends spoke about bringing you on, but we just never went through with it. But
Gotcha.
we're here now.
Yes, I am.
We're here.
Yeah.
So what's going on with you? Tell me what's up.
What is
new
up?
with you?
I don't know what is up. Nothing really. Last time people saw me, I was since the last time people saw me publicly like that, interviews and stuff, I've become a mom. So I've been mommying a lot.
Oh.
And just recently starting to get back into music, like original music, outside of like performing places. But that's it. Work, music, and mommying.
How is mommying going for you?
Mommying is great.
You're a new mom.
Yeah.
Yeah,
2 years in.
2 years in.
Yeah.
So what have you learned, and what have surprised you so much? I mean, what have you been surprised by in being a parent? Like, what do you learn about yourself?
Well, my patience has grown incredibly, for one.
I could imagine.
Yeah, my son is a handful sometimes. And then I didn't realize how like flexible I can be in my life in terms of all the things that I do, from like having a regular job to performing with bands to performing myself at gigs to like studio life to health to trying to work out to trying to have a social life and all that. So that balance has been interesting. I think I got it now, but I'm kind of surprised that I'm still able to do all of that and like just find time in my day to do all of that stuff and still do it well, I guess.
They say when you become a mom, you become an octopus too. So
yeah, multitasking is.
You learn you got your tentacles already.
Yes, I have.
That's wonderful. So about your music, do we have anything new coming? What are we looking forward to from you?
So I wasn't going to talk about this. I wasn't going to, but I feel like.
So we got an exclusive? Do we have an exclusive?
You have an exclusive reveal, yes.
Okay.
So
All right.
Huh?
All right, I'm listening.
Yeah, so I am working on some new music. It's a new, I guess, a new style for me. It's still very, very jazz, if you know what jazz music is like, especially in the hip hop arena. But it's very, very bold. Mm-hmm. And it's a new sound, and I've been experimenting with like pushing my limits in terms of things that I would say and how I deliver some music. So I'm excited for this new song that hopefully I can get my masters back soon so I can release it to the public. New song, new video, new songs on the way, but I have one specifically that I want to release like very, very soon. So people have been kind of asking about that. Anytime I post something about my son, people are like, oh, he's so cute, but when are you going to do some new music? When are you going to get some new music? So I'm excited to...
Fans have no chill.
None whatsoever. I love it, though. I mean, I guess it just means that I was kind of afraid that I may have like faded into the background, being gone for a while.
Right.
Because during the pandemic, of course, I wasn't doing much of anything. Except being pregnant. And then 2 years later, you know, kind of bouncing back from the pandemic and then being a mom. But I want to say I've probably been out of recording original music for like almost 4 or 5 years now. Like I still was performing and stuff, but in terms of like actually recording and releasing original music, it's been a while. So long time coming, so I'm happy.
How has that transition been for you, getting back into the studio, getting back into performing and doing all that?
So performing, I think performing was harder for me than getting back into the studio. I thought it was going to be the other way around because I performed a lot more than I did studio in the past maybe 6-7 years. I was doing a lot more live performances, whether it was like me as Chase or me with my band, Jukebox Live. And so because I did that so much, I felt like once outside was open and I got to perform again, that would have been like a piece of cake. But I feel like 2 years of not like stretching my vocal muscles and like not being on stage was weird. And I didn't realize it until like my first performance, and just didn't feel the same. Expectation for me wasn't the same. I don't think the expectation for like my supporters and fans was the same either. They wouldn't say that, but I don't think it was. But after a couple months of doing that, it was better. But when I got to the studio, I figured because I wasn't in the studio for like 5 years, that would have been difficult. But I got in the studio with Padrino, who's my regular producer. And he and I hadn't recorded in a long time, maybe 6 or 7 years, to be honest. And we got there that night, and he built a beat, and we wrote a song, and like 2 days later, it was done. So
that's crazy.
Yeah.
So I have 2 questions. I just recently know, because always seeing you, and when I see you perform, it's mostly, well, you know where I see you perform at the hotel, but it's mostly only singing.
Yeah, you know me as a singer.
Yeah, I just learned that you rap. So to you, which one you're more comfortable doing?
Rapping.
Yeah.
Rapping is my thing. I just, I feel like it's easier for me. So singing is, I feel like every facet of music has like a technique, right? Whether you rap, how you sing, how you play instruments, how you produce, all of that. But for me, like singing is so much more technical, like so much different things you could do with your voice from like, and different ranges and using your falsetto and all these different techniques in singing. And rapping isn't like, I don't have to do all of that.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like once the delivery is like really, really good and you can kind of tell a story in a way, whether it's like a song where you actually telling the story lyrically or you just telling the story by the way you deliver it, I feel like that could sell a song, you know, a rap song. Whereas singing is just so much more, it's so much more to do. And then just being in the industry, I know a lot of musicians, singers, rappers, and stuff like that. I don't like to compare myself with anybody, and I don't like to be compared to anybody. So there's so much more female singers out here than female rappers. And
that is true.
Yeah, and so a lot of people don't know I can sing, actually. Most people know me for rapping, and if someone saw me singing that knows me for rapping, they'll be like, when did this happen? Like, I didn't know this was a thing.
Right.
So, yeah, rapping from day one, I think was like my escape from singing. I always wanted to be a singer, but I grew up on like rock and roll music and like big R&B vocalists, the Whitney Houstons, the Mariah Careys, Celine Dion's and stuff like that. And I didn't realize that you could actually train yourself to sing like that, like vocal training and stuff. So I shied away from it because that's all I knew in terms of singing.
So when you say that you mean train yourself, you mean coming from somebody that does not have any vocal training and cannot sing. You can actually learn you could teach yourself how to sing, but not yourself.
I wouldn't say that. I feel like you have to have some kind of foundation for singing. Anyone could learn singing techniques. That doesn't necessarily mean that they will sound good singing, but techniques are really important. In some cases, more important than the ability to actually sing. Right. Because without certain techniques, you can't sing certain songs and sing certain ways. So anyone could learn a technique of singing, but not everyone can sound good singing.
I want to take it back to your performance. Is it a time, or do you still get nervous when you perform?
I would say yeah. It depends. It depends on the situation. So when I first started singing again at the hotel, I was nervous as hell because I went from singing with like a big band on a big stage to singing with a keyboardist that I never played with before, and in a very, very small, intimate setting with people like right in my face. I've never really been that kind of performer, like a lounge singer type performer.
Yeah.
So that was nerve-wracking for me. And then I didn't practice with the keyboard player the first time I had to perform with him, so that was nerve-wracking too. So it depends on the situation. I rarely get nervous if I have to perform in front of like a really big crowd. I rarely get nervous. When I first did my own show out of the pandemic, I was nervous. I'm not even sure why, but I was.
I mean, the biggest and the greatest get nervous. They'll tell you that every time.
Yeah, and then in some cases, I just get nervous. This might sound weird, but I just get nervous when I know something's going to be like really, really good. So my anxiety is beyond me just to do it. Like, because I have the vision and then do the rehearsals and then, set up and then trust the part. So like everything is there. So it's like we curse on this podcast. Yeah. So it's like I can't fuck it up, right?
Yeah.
So my anxiety is beyond me when I have like shows that I know are going to be like really, really great. But once I start performing, then I don't be nervous.
So that just goes away.
Yeah, like immediately.
All right. So you mentioned that you prefer to rap.
Yes.
Which came first?
Singing.
Singing came first,
yeah.
And then you learned how to rap, or you learned that you could rap.
Yeah, I learned that I could rap because I don't think rapping was ever a thing that I had to learn how to do.
Really?
Yeah, it was weird. Okay, so in high school, I went to high school in Freeport, and during like lunch breaks, these guys, one who was a really good friend of mine, used to have like freestyle battles on the stairwell.
Oh shit, you was in them too?
So I wasn't in them, but I used to be around watching it because the guy who was a friend of mine, he was like really, really, really good.
Does he still rap to this day?
No.
Oh, okay.
He passed away when I was maybe like in 11th grade or something.
Oh.
Yeah, unfortunately. But he was like really, 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 really good. And he's like one of the people that actually inspired me to want to rap, right? So he was a grade above me and sat with my sister So all of us was really, really cool. And I told him one time that, and I always liked rap music. Like I loved like the Busta Rhymes, the Missy Elliott's, the Ludacris, the T.I.'s, like the Eminems. I loved like music in general, but I had a thing for rap music. And I also have my friends think it's such a special skill that I could, like I learn lyrics really, really quickly. So I don't ever have to read it, or I could just listen to a song and I would know it. So I just be rapping these songs just off air because I hear them, and I didn't realize that I was kind of learning how to do this because I was listening to so much different artists. Anyway, so I told my friend one day that I wanted to try, like I feel like I wanted to rap. And he was like, okay, so you should come in the circle one day. And I was like, I probably need to like write some stuff. And one day I went there, and there was this other girl who used to go in the circle all the time. And she went in there, and my friend saw me, so he pulled me in the circle. And I didn't know I could freestyle either, but I did that.
Off the bat?
Yeah, I did that, and I won that battle in life. And
you won the battle too?
I won the battle.
Oh, shit.
And that was it. Like, I was like, okay, I'm going to do this.
See, now I got to hear you rap, because that's one thing I've never heard from you. Like, live.
Oh, okay.
Well, not me. You don't have to rap now.
I was going to say, because, I mean, you could, everyone can go over to Chase Fernando on YouTube and Instagram and watch and listen, and SoundCloud and Apple Music and Spotify and all that stuff to listen to my music and hear me rap.
Y'all heard it.
Unshameless plug.
But what you could do is, whenever you have another performance, you make sure to let me know.
Of course.
Because I want to be there. I definitely want to see that.
Yeah.
So, you learned that you could rap in middle school.
Yeah.
First of all, do you write your own stuff?
Yes.
You write everything?
Yes.
All right.
Well, I've had songs like this new song Padrino and I co-wrote together. We have another song. That we co-wrote together too. That was kind of old. But for the majority of my music, singing or rapping, I write it.
Okay. So yeah, you learned to rap. You learned that you could rap in middle school.
Yeah. Before
then, how long were you singing?
I don't know. I was always singing at some point.
Oh, where did you start? Where did you learn this talent?
My dad was a drummer in a rock band.
Shout out to Dad.
Yeah, shout out to Daddy. First, I think, if I'm not mistaken, first all black, all Bahamian rock band in the country.
That's crazy.
So I was always around music. Mm-hmm. And then I started playing the keyboards when I was like 4 or 5. And throughout the years, probably until I was maybe 13 or 14, I went between keyboards to bass guitar to drums, because my daddy was a drummer, so we always had drums there. Unfortunately, I didn't stick with any of those instruments.
I was just about to ask you.
Bro, I would have been a beast. But I didn't stick with any of those, not by no fault of mine. But we always had a music room, so my dad and I, and sometimes my sister, we just used to go in the music room pretty much every other day and just play music. So my dad would be on the drums, I would be on the keyboard, my sister would just be chilling, or she would sometimes go on the drums, and I'd be singing the songs, and my dad would be harmonizing with me, and that's just, like, music was just always a thing. Like, I remember even when I was in primary school, and my dad used to pick me and my sister up, and he used to, like, make up these songs for us to sing together as we were driving home.
Yeah, that's dope.
So from I know myself, I always was singing or, like, involved in music in some way.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
That's powerful. So you learned to rap, and you fall in love with rap.
Yeah.
When was your first big song?
Shoot. My first big song?
All right, when was your first studio recording?
I was probably like 15, 14 or 15. But I was doing gospel music then.
Everyone to start off in the church.
Yeah.
Some way, somehow.
Yeah, so that was interesting. But this guy that was a music teacher, I sang at something for school with 2 other girls, and the guy was there, and he spoke to my parents after that and asked if he could record me. So I did a song, 2 songs with him, both that I wrote then too when I was 14 or 15. And I went through so much different things before I actually like found myself in music and like did it seriously. Like I was in so much different groups. In this group called Got a Movement, some rappers from Freeport, some of them from here too. This other rap group, Straight Up and Down or something like that. I say something like that, that's so shameful. But I think my first song when people like really, that I put on the radio, that people knew me for, had to been like...
You thinking like this so far back?
It is so far back. It is so far back. Like, because I've done so much things since then. Maybe like 2008.
Well, do you still perform those songs?
No.
You don't?
No, not that. Not like the first one. Actually, a lot of them I still don't perform.
No?
No. I think there's only like one song that I had that was like pretty old that I would still perform now because a lot of people like that. It's a song called Train Tracks. I wasn't rapping on it. I was singing on that.
Name your favorite song to perform from yourself.
Dear John.
Dear John.
Yeah.
All right, so everybody go check out Dear John.
Yeah.
Be there about that.
Yeah, Dear John is special to me.
Now you made mention of you getting your master's back. Are you signed?
No.
You're not?
No.
So who owns your master's?
You have to put me in that kind of position. I own my masters.
You do?
I'm not signed, but I own my masters. I pay for them. I have the rights to my masters.
Okay. Earlier I heard you said you just got them back. That's why.
No, I haven't gotten it back yet. I mean, as in the master
you
track.
Didn't? Okay, you didn't get the master track. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you meant like you had to pay for them.
No.
Okay.
No. The song that I want to release is mixed. But the master copy isn't. I haven't gotten it back from the engineer yet.
So where do you pull your motivation from? Like, who do you listen to? Is there an artist that you go to, I guess, not gauge yourself, but to learn some things, get some pointers in performing in just studio recording, any of that? Is there anybody?
I can't say that there's one person right now, because of when I started music, I'm a 90s music fan, like 90s, early 2000s. And my inspiration comes from anything 90s down, like 60s, 70s, 80s. And so me just growing up so deep into music, I was just inspired by so many different artists from like those eras that I can't say that there's one person. And because I do different genres of music, I can't say that there's one person that inspires me to do anything. It depends on how I feel also, that I just pull from.
Well, do us a favor, name one.
Okay.
Name two.
I'll give you a couple for all of my different reasons.
Okay.
So Missy Elliott is my favorite entertainer.
Okay.
Like I'm not a super fan of Missy lyrically, but in terms of performance and like originality with like her videos and like when she does live performances and stuff, like I'm.
Yeah, she's amazing.
When Missy won the Video Vanguard Award, I watched that performance literally, I'm not kidding, like 35 times back to back, and I cried the whole time. Like, because she's like 50 doing this shit, and like, when I watch like younger artists, younger mainstream artists performing now and everything, it's just about ass and shit and like sex appeal when like this gal 50 and she putting on like a show, like a memorable show, right?
Right.
So Missy, Eminem lyrically is my favorite rapper. Like I'm just amazed by him. I feel like Busta is.
I knew it. I just knew it.
I feel like if you like Missy, you like Busta.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Right, because for the same things, except like lyrically, Busta
is it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Erykah Badu on a singing front.
I guessed two of them.
Yeah.
Let me just say, I guessed two of them in my head.
Lauryn Hill on a singing and rapping front.
Okay. Lauren is the shit, by the way.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah.
And I think that's all that I could think of, like, on the top of my list. In terms of, like, more recent artists, like Bruno Mars, like, I just love his old school vibe and how he was able to, like, take from his idols, like James Brown and, like, from that era and, like, make it something that's current and fun and, like, bring music back into R&B.
I really like what he did, him and Anderson .Paak with bringing like
They're perfect.
Yeah, they gave you like this old school rough mix.
Yeah.
Well, the music itself wasn't rough like how the music was back in the day.
Right.
Like, but they gave you a smooth mix of what it's like a nostalgia.
Right. It was the essence.
Yeah,
of
like
the
I
music
really
back
like.
then.
I really like what they did there. I was gonna ask you, if given the opportunity, would you create a record like that or an album similar to what they did?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah?
Yeah, if given the opportunity, yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. That's really dope.
Yeah, I don't think that's something that I could naturally pull out of myself.
Right.
But if I was working with the right producer or artist to do that, I could do it.
Now I have to ask you this question.
Okay.
Have you made music with your father yet?
No. No, I haven't. I have not made music with my father, but I've played music live with my father before.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
How was that?
It was fantastic. It sounds so cheesy, but it's like a dream for me.
You being cheesy right now. It's like a what?
It was like a dream for me.
Oh, a dream. Okay.
I'll tell you why. Like I told you, like my dad was a part of like an all-black, all Bahamian rock and roll band from before I was born, right?
He's from Freeport, right?
He's from Nassau. They were here.
Okay.
The band was here. And
so when did you move to Nassau?
I moved to Nassau in 2005.
Okay.
I spent 10 years in Freeport. So I moved there when I was 7.
So you moved there when you was 7? Oh,
yeah.
so you was born here?
Yeah, I was born
here.
here.
Okay, I thought you was born in Freeport.
Started primary school and music classes and all that stuff here.
Okay.
So when we moved.
So during this time, was he there too? In Freeport with you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he moved us because my dad grew up in Freeport. He was born in Nassau too, but I think like his high school years he spent, like maybe junior high and high school he spent at Freeport, and he just liked living there, so he wanted to raise his family there. So we ended up moving there. But when I moved back here, my father's old band was still together, and they still used to play together. And eventually, I started singing like backgrounds for that band. Then eventually, I started singing lead for that band. And when I did that, my dad was still in Freeport, but when he would come to visit, he would come and watch us. And so there was maybe 2 instances, I think, when he came and he watched us. And I asked him to play, if he could play a song on the drums. And he was like kind of hesitant because my dad, I don't know, he don't like being put on the spot like that. And anyway, he ended up doing it. And it was just amazing because I was like, who would have thought that this entire band would have still been together when I was growing and like doing this professionally. So yeah, it was dope.
That's amazing. That's really dope.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask a question. Who you listening to now?
I don't really listen to nobody like that. Like
No?
I have when I was driving up here, I was listening to T.I. Like I was being moods to listen to certain songs that I already know and like. And in a way, I feel like that kind of works against me in some instances because I'm not a fan of like new music.
I was about to ask you.
I'm not a fan of new music. Like there's some new artists that I like, but they're not. First of all, I feel like rappers, especially, just popping up every day out of nowhere.
Let's get them.
And there's no substance to what they're producing.
It's trendy now. You see, music is trendy.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It's not so much about the art anymore.
No.
About the passion of anything. It's about let me get the bag. Yeah, a lot of people get in the bag in music. Let me try to get the bag in music. So these guys don't have substance. They don't have anything of quality.
I agree.
I can't tell you the last rap album that I've been obsessed with.
Same.
That's why I listen to more R&B now.
Yeah. I don't even listen to R&B. Like, I'm starting to get back into R&B because I feel like R&B is, like, the new R&B artists are better than the new rap artists.
Yeah, they are.
But I don't know. I am kind of in limbo, whereas it's like when you listen to so much of one thing and you're not impressed, like I am hesitant to when people say, like my friend told me the other day that I should listen to SZA's new album. I'm probably going to listen to it, but it's going to take me a while to actually be interested in listening to it. Like if I listen right now, I'd probably listen to a song and be like, okay, and that'll be it. And that's just because I've just been so unimpressed for so long that I feel like it's not worth my time.
That's his album is. Ooh.
So I heard, and he did let me hear a couple of songs, and I was like, okay, SZA, okay.
So go ahead.
No, that was it basically. So I can't even think of artists, any new artists right now that I could say, oh, I really, really vibing to. Like, I just started to even like get on the Afro beats type run.
For real?
I mean, not just, but like I just started to like freely explore them. Like actually go and look for these songs and look for these artists. And then I was like WizKid, like I found out kind of really who he was a couple of months ago.
No, never.
Listen,
never.
Like, so I realized that I was like, okay, so I know all of these songs, but I just didn't know who it was. So it's like that, like and then I don't even.
See, you don't party.
No.
That's why.
And then I'm about to go on a little tangent right now because I also.
Because them songs is hit when you out now.
Yeah, they do. I don't go out. I got nobody to take me out.
Oh, you get that.
But but when I do go out, that's when I hear stuff. But also, so the radio is like non-existent anymore, right? Nobody's listening to the radio.
Yeah, nobody really.
But because that's how I grew up listening to music and like listening to the radio and like listening to like watching videos on BET and MTV and all that stuff, like it took me so long. Like I feel like such an old soul saying this. It took me so long to like cross over into the streaming because every time I stream stuff, I just look for stuff that I already know as opposed to like exploring like new artists and different stuff like that. So, and then I've been driving a Japanese car for years, so it took me a long time to get a transmitter too for me to actually.
So you was rocking CD for a little while.
My God. CD for a long time, a couple of years. But that was fine for me because I like what I like. So I didn't mind just listening to certain things. But I have only recently, maybe in the past 2 years, have like been using the platforms that could introduce me to new music. So if I ain't out, or if I ain't in somebody's car and they playing it, or if I don't, it don't come across my Spotify playlist or something like that, I don't really know it. I don't really know these things as being in my own little world, right?
You could ever see yourself doing an Afrobeat song?
I could see myself, I guess, because I would have said no before I started exploring all these different Afrobeat artists.
Yeah.
But I would say yes now because like I do like an Afrobeat fusion. Like I wouldn't go straight from doing hip hop to straight Afrobeats.
Yeah.
But if I could do something that has like some underlying hip hop elements fused with Afrobeats, I could definitely see myself doing that. Like Burna Boy, I love him. So like the kind of stuff that he does, I could see myself doing.
All right, that's crazy. So I was gonna ask, what's your thoughts on the toxic women in music right now?
The toxic women in
music. But you said you don't listen to the new artists. All the new artists are those women, like SZA, Summer Walker.
Summer Walker's crazy.
All those women.
Summer Walker is. Who else?
Singing, push this toxic agenda. City Girls, all those.
Okay, because I don't really listen to them, and like I know who they are, I don't really listen to them because I really don't care to. Like City Girls, like
they changed the game though. They changed the game for women.
What way? Tell me because I don't know. I really don't know.
When last have you dated someone?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, see, as a man, dating now, and when you find a lot of women, not I wouldn't go to the limb and say all, but a lot of women nowadays, they have this expectation of someone coming into their life and solving all of their problems immediately.
Oh, that's what you mean when you say they change it. Okay, so me and my colleague was just talking about this today.
Right.
Who this gal is? Young Miami. She's a city girl. Who she is?
Young Miami. Yeah, she's a city girl.
Okay. So my colleague and I were talking about this today, and she was talking about Young Miami and Diddy and all these stuff, and I was like, so what's going on? I don't know. She was like, how do you not know? It's like, because I don't care about this dumb shit. Like, what is going on? Well, and she was talking about how whatever the situation is with her and Diddy, and I was like, okay. She's like, why don't you know about this? I was like, why do you know about this? Why is this so important to you? Like, I don't.
For the viewers and listeners out there, and those of you that might not know, Diddy and Young Miami, they've been having an open relationship for a few years now, maybe a year or two. But Diddy, obviously, he's spoiling her in some way. He did
a dirty or something?
He recently had a child or two children, I think.
Oh.
In their stand with each other. And everyone was expecting her to have some type of emotional uproar about the situation, but she didn't care. She didn't care because he was doing what he was doing as a man, taking care of her, I guess. So that's the whole dilemma about that situation. But I tie that into a lot of women now because of some of the things that they hear in music. I can't say that it's solely that.
Yeah.
But it's helped push an agenda.
I agree. Some of the things that they hear and a lot of things that they see too.
Yeah.
And pop culture and Instagram and social media and all that shit. What was your question to me? What do I think about it?
Yeah, what do you think about their music and how it's changed the minds of some women and people?
I don't listen to their music, so I don't think anything of it.
Oh, okay.
And I mean that in a sense that I don't listen to their music because I don't think anything of it. Like I don't like it.
So what do you think about dating? Let's get straight to that then.
Let me answer the second half of the question.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
I guess that will segue into dating anyway.
Yeah, go ahead. Do your thing. Take control.
Of course, we forget what the second half of the question was.
I don't even remember
about
the second
dating, about
the women.
Yeah. Okay. So, to each their own, right? Everybody have their own thoughts of how they want to date, how they want to be treated, what they want from a man, and this and that. I personally, which is also something I was talking to my colleague about today, feel like
when your colleague is doing plenty talking. Seems like more talking than working.
This was just, shut up. This is like 20 minutes out of our work day.
Okay, go ahead.
And it had to do with the Young Miami thing. But anyway, so we were talking about, she was saying how like she tired of niggas. Like she must see you gotta go 4 and 5. nigga because she want a certain lifestyle, right?
Oh, I have something but that next. Go ahead.
It's like she wants a certain lifestyle. And the lifestyle that she wants isn't like far-fetched or anything. She just wants someone to treat her well, right? Without her having to be like thoughty. So I was just like, what annoys me is that women feel like the life that they want, someone is supposed to give it to them. And I feel like if you're not willing to work for or provide a certain lifestyle for yourself, then you shouldn't expect someone to do it for you. And even if that means that, let's go materialistic, right? Even if that means that you want to be a girl that has designer, this and that, but you haven't spent or saved or spent $1 on something designer for yourself, why would a nigga just go and buy you something designer? I feel like if a guy is gonna buy you gifts and he doesn't know what you like, maybe he'll try and pay attention to things that you have. So if you don't have a designer bag, why would he think to go and buy you, just spend bub on a designer bag, you know? Or if you're not somebody that maintains yourself, that looks a certain way, why would you expect that a guy should just be giving you money to go get your hair done, get your nails done, and all these different things? And not to say that some guys don't do that, but I just feel like the expectation for men to provide a certain lifestyle for women without them like lifting a finger to do it for themselves, or at least make the first step, do it for themselves. I feel like it's a real fucked up sense of entitlement, like for no particular reason.
Oh my God, you cooking. No, you killing that shit.
Yeah.
And that's the problem nowadays. A lot of people, I wouldn't even put it just on women. A lot of people have just a super large entitlement issue.
Yeah.
Like everybody feels entitled to everything. They feel entitled to sex. They feel entitled to your money. They feel entitled to everything that you've worked hard for. Just because either we talk or we date or we sleep with one another. You know what I mean? In some cases, I could see it like to each his own, like you say. But you just have to be realistic with yourself. I also believe that if you're not one to be able to afford these things, then you shouldn't expect it from no one else.
Agreed.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but
that's the next part of the conversation.
Yeah, most people don't see it that way.
Yeah.
So what's your thoughts on dating now in this era?
The dating pool, from my experience, pretty shitty. It's kind of murky.
Have you ever been on a bad date? Like, single date?
Yes.
Tell us about that experience, please. Because I've never experienced a bad date.
So I heard in one of your previous podcasts.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I talked about this already?
You mentioned that you never had a bad date.
Yeah, I've never had one.
Yeah. Yeah, so I had a date with someone.
I've dated people that were bad.
I should have known it was going to be a bad date because I was putting off and ignoring this person for the longest just because of how they approached me. But I was like, anyway, I was on a fucking type run. And I ain't gonna lie. Huh?
Go ahead. I
ain't gonna lie. Being fully transparent, he asked me if I wanted to meet him over food, and I was just about to go and get food, and I didn't want to pay for it. So that's how I was like, hey, I'm hungry. I'm going to get food anyway, so might as well
just let it be free.
Yeah,
you know?
and let me just see if this guy is really the type of person that I don't want to hang out with and eat at the same time. So, oh God, that sounds so bad. But anyway, that's realistic. So I did that. I met him at the plantation. And at first he seemed okay. But then I guess when he got comfortable or when he saw me get comfortable, like, I don't like arrogant men. I don't like flashy men. I don't like men who like is always take pictures of a fucking Rollie or these designer shit that they have. And like, I just feel like that's so lame. And he's like that type of person. So eventually, once he got comfortable, his arrogance started to come out. And I don't know, I played that off pretty good. I feel like I insulted him very kindly, but he was too arrogant to realize that that's what I was doing.
You ended the date?
I ended the date, and then he walked me to my car. As we were walking to my car, though, I don't know how I ended up sitting in his car. He was like, man, just let me talk to you for a couple more minutes or whatever. And his car was like 2 cars down from mine. So I was like, okay, cool. And then when I got in the car, like this man just proceeded to try and grope me and kiss me. And I was like, wait a minute. What is happening? Why is this happening? I don't think I gave you any sort of inclination that I was interested in you in any sort of way, let alone like in this physical type of way. And as I'm trying to tell this man, like nicely without trying to pull a scene and scream or anything to get off me, he's just like, you know you want this, you know you want. And I was like,
you want this. Not that you know you want this.
What? And like he just continues to try and put his hand in my shirt or under my shirt and trying to kiss me up and stuff. And then I just ended up almost falling out of the car because I was on the door, trying to open the door, and I got the door open and I almost like fell out the car because he was like. And
this was in your car?
No, this was in his car, which was like parked 2 cars down from my car. And when I got out the car, I just started to go to my car, and he came behind me and he was trying to apologize, and I just went to my car and I got in my car and I started to pull out, and my passenger window was up. So when I was pulling off, he knocked on the window. I don't know why I screwed down the window, but anyway, I screwed down the window. I was like, what? And he was like, I think he took out like $200 or $300. He like threw it in my car and he was like, go put some gas in your car. Meanwhile, my car is full because it's always full. But I'm like I feel like that insulted me the most. That like, first of all, don't throw no money at me. Yeah. Because I no bitch. Like I'm just one of these Gyals. Like, no offense to them Gyals, but
these Gyals.
Like I'm not that. And I drove home and I was like, this is exactly why for months my intuition was saying, just don't entertain this guy. So that was my bad date, and I feel like up to that was like when Outside first opened up, and he must have texted me from another number because I blocked the 2 numbers that I had to him. I think he must have texted me from another number like 2 months ago. No. I didn't answer, but I was like, the audacity of you, sir, to even still be trying to contact me after that.
Well, what did you do with the $200-$300 that he threw in the window?
I don't know. I'm sure I spent it on something. Okay. It wasn't gas.
Well, at least you put it to use.
It was in there.
You get some free food and some money.
It was in my
the
car.
Bad date. That's
I know fool. It was there.
That's pretty wild.
Huh?
That's pretty wild.
That is wild.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, if he had left, if we was like in the restaurant and he left the money on the table or something, I'd have leave the money. But it was in my car.
Yeah, you threw it in your car. Having to throw it out your car.
No,
that's right down. What? If somebody throw some money at me after a bad day. I just be ready to go on there. Go, let's get it on you.
But that's the thing too, though. Like a lot of niggas feel like they could do that to Gyals.
Yeah,
that's corny though. A lot of them actually can do that to a lot of girls.
But still, that's corny. Even if the woman wants it or not, that's still corny.
Yeah. Well, I don't mean literally throw, but I mean like the money being the thing that's keeping them, I guess. Like just offer them money or just give them money and not like really spend no time or put no effort or just, I mean, anyway.
A lot of women, if you speak to a lot of women now, but some women, they're not really looking for a relationship. The sentiment I get from a lot of women are they trying to heal or they just doing them, protecting their peace. So dating someone or being serious with someone isn't on their agenda.
Yeah. Or they trying to use niggas too.
That too.
I mean, that has happened.
And the summer is coming up, so once again, it's another hot girl summer.
Yeah, that has happened.
Coming up again.
It's happened to everybody.
I had one more question to ask you pertaining to dating, but I can't remember it now. So I wouldn't linger on with that. But what I do want.
Did it have to do with when I said, I did say that my colleague was saying how she want to go, niggas ain't shit, and she want to go foreign to find a guy? You did say something during that time?
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that for real. Do you know anyone that lives in the U.S. that's a Bahamian?
Mm-hmm.
More than one person?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're talking women now.
Yeah.
They do they have American or Bahamian significant others?
Bahamian. The ones that I know.
Do you know? They are Bahamian,
personally,
right?
Yeah.
You don't think that's a coincidence? Because a lot of times women would complain about us as Bahamian men.
Mm-hmm.
When they venture off to the U.S., I find that a lot of them either date or come back and talk to Bahamian men.
Yeah.
Because they realize how we treat them. Now, Bahamian men, we really flattery and aggressive in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Which means if we want, like we put ourselves out there when it comes to us wanting a woman.
Yeah.
Whereas Americans don't do that as much. They're not as aggressive, but they don't treat women the same way as we do.
Oh, I wouldn't know. I never dated an American before.
I've learned, and I've heard this from a lot of women too, that the difference in culture is harder for them to date American guys. Mm. So they talk and complain and talk shit about us all the time until they go to the U.S.
Yeah, until they see something that they haven't actually experienced before.
Yeah, then they see how we treat them compared to how the Americans treat them.
Yeah.
And it's always that. That's what I wanted to say about that, basically. So, yeah, what's the ceiling for you now? Like, where do you see yourself going from here as it pertains to music? Anything else you're going to venture into? Anything you got coming up that we should look out for? Please let us know.
Pertaining to music, what's the ceiling for me? I don't...
Some Afrobeats records you got coming?
Maybe.
Hit us with something.
I am just in that era of just doing different things. Like, I used to be very, very particular about my sound and this is what I want. Just this is what I do. But like now I'm a lot more open to like exploring different things. So I can't really say I have a ceiling.
So we got a scissor feature coming? That's what you telling us?
Listen, if it happens, it happens.
All right, then.
Know.
You heard it, yeah. On the 2 for 2 podcast.
In terms of everything else, expectations, I tend not to put myself out there like that because I don't like pressure. So I'm like, especially as an artist, like I don't need pressure behind me when I say I'm going to do something, and people, like, you can't really tell about like timelines and stuff. I expected this new song to be out now, but it's been almost a month since I sent my masters out. So I'm glad I didn't say anything before, because then it would have been like, okay, I have to do something because people are waiting to hear this song because I already told them it's coming and this and that. So I tend to just slap people with stuff. Like I'll just do something and then put it out there because I just like it better that way. And then it sort of makes it just makes it seem more, not makes it seem, but it's just more organic that way. And I like to surprise people.
Right. Who's in charge of your mixing and mastering?
Padrino does my mixing. And there's this other guy that lives abroad. His name is Alex. This is the first time I'm working with Alex on the mastering.
Okay.
But Padrino usually does my mixing and mastering.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's dope. Well, I'm excited to hear what you got coming for us.
Yeah, I'm excited to let y'all hear it.
Yeah, this has been a pleasure. I hope that we have you back on someday.
Yeah, I hope so too. Maybe after I release a song and this dope ass video. Because we're gonna have to talk about that.
We have to. So we got it. You coming back in a few months or however long it takes. We'll be here.
Yes.
Great talking to you today.
Sam.
It was a wonderful podcast. We're gonna get out here right now. So long. May the universe grant us serenity to accept the things we can't change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Remember I told you, next episode we got the part of the show where you interact with us live on air. Thank you again for spending some time with me.
You're welcome.
Today.
It was my pleasure.
Hope to have you back. You were wonderful.
Thank you.
Beautiful. You smell nice. You look nice.
Thank you.
We are out. We are out of this, bitch.
Rivers.